Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It is a brand new night, and as always, we are unedited, unfiltered, and of course, we are going raw. My name is Joey.
And I'm Eric, and we're your hosts, and welcome to Raw Minds. Bada bing, bada boom.
We doing it big, my friend. You know why? Because it is official that we have crossed the line of beating out 90% of all podcasts.
Well done, sir. Well done.
90% we have beat them all, and there's a few million of them. So well done, sir. Well done.
hmm
I like it.
I like it a lot. It's good, man.
Yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah.
So, happy birthday.
Thank you. Today is my birthday. I am extremely old, but I do not feel it. So that's good.
Old as dust.
Fucking time flies, buddy. Time flies.
Tell me about
Time
it, man.
flies. 42. But at
Yeah.
least I only look 28. But you know
Um,
what, man? Fucking even being at 42 is I feel the best I've ever felt at 42, best shape mentally, all of it than when I was 25, 30, 35 even.
that's good, man.
But I think that comes with growth and when you live the lives that we've lived and the struggles that we've had to endure since we were kids,
Yeah.
um it's very difficult to be healthy mentally,
hmm
let alone physically.
Yeah.
And when you're
Especially
not,
mentally.
and when and when you're not healthy mentally, you know, all other areas of your life fall off,
Definitely.
and that's when we hit those levels of depression. You let your house go, you let your weight go, you let your diets go, you you know you make a lot of poor life choices when we're in that state of mind,
hmm
and it's very difficult to get out of, and we understand it more than most people because we've lived it.
Yeah. Well, I
But
mean, in that moment too, like we say, you're making decisions on temporary emotions, right?
yeah, permanent ones, and
Yeah.
I've made a lot of them, and that's with relationships, with choices at work, to we do it all the time because
Yeah.
of how you ramped up in your own emotions,
Yeah.
and most of the time that we get all angry and pissed off at something or someone,
Mhm.
it stems from a lot more than that incident.
Yeah.
You know, because we're struggling with other things, you take it out on the people in front of you and the work that you're doing or your kids, and not intentionally, but that tells you that there's a lot that you haven't dealt with. And
Mhm.
man, I did it for 20 years, right? Because we're struggling. We don't know how to regulate these emotions and think clearly and make clear-minded decisions because we're so messed up,
Well, that's
and because
that's what it is,
we're
man.
battling ourselves daily,
Mhm.
right? We're all up in here is a very it, it's a very dangerous place, but it can also be the most beautiful place.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
it's just getting through those levels of depression and the insecurities and the self doubts, and once you hit those head on and fix those core problems, how you come out on the other side, man, I never thought I could be where I'm at because I put in the work to face those demons head on.
And there's no stopping, man. You know what I mean? There's no end goal. You just keep on growing and growing. Every day's a new adventure, right? It's just a matter of keep on moving, pushing forward. Like we said in the last thing, the world keeps on turning. You just got to move with it, or you'll get
Well,
left
and that's the
behind.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just you. We are a never-ending. What would you call it? A never-ending. Stumped here. I know what I'm trying to say, and it's on the tip of my tongue. We're never ending in trying to grow and work on ourselves. Like it'll never stop. No
Yeah.
matter even me with everything that I've been through and everything I was able to deal with and hit head on, is you're still gonna have struggles on the day to day. You're still gonna battle some demons. It's finding the tools to not let it trigger you and to get through it and move forward past these, you know, traumatic events that you've dealt with or heartbreaks or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
So it's a never ending battle, but the whole goal is to be better than you were the day before. That's all you can do, right? And we get so wrapped up, I think, in and I'm guilty of it still sometimes with, trying to build a business and do all these other positive things, but everyone wants instant gratification. They don't want to feel like this, like starting tomorrow. They want the business to make money tomorrow, all these things. But just it, you got to learn the patience and the gratitude too as well for the things that you do have
Takes
rather than
time, man.
and then focus on the things that you don't have,
Yeah. Takes time. I mean,
right?
it's like fucking growing a plant. You know what I mean? You gotta water it. It's not just you're gonna give it food and water. It's not gonna just sprout the next fucking day. You know, it takes some time, man. Just like a business and all that other shit, right?
It's delayed gratification, and a
Hundred
lot of
percent.
people won't, right? Just like going to the gym, right? I can work out for 6 hours tomorrow, or you can. You look in the mirror when you're done. Are you going to notice a difference? No. You might feel
No.
good,
Yeah.
but you ain't going to notice shit. But it's
Yeah.
got to be the consistency. And whether it's the gym, your diet, or anything in life, it's the delayed gratification and the consistency, just like your mental state,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's You're not gonna fix it overnight. If you could do that, man, you'd be a bazillionaire if you could fix people overnight. And
Mm-hmm.
but it just doesn't work like that. So it's the same thing as the process of getting into shape, eating better, and all these is creating those habits. And the best habit you can create is your mental state on how to better yourself, fix yourself, and improve yourself daily. Like I just said, it's a never ending battle, but at the same time, what you get at the end of that is 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 amazing
Well,
because
you
I
mean
never thought
you're
I
missing a
would be
big
where I'm
point though,
sitting
bro.
today. What's
Missing a
that?
big point. Also, discipline. You know, you got to have discipline too, right? That's a huge thing too. Because without discipline, man, you can fall off the horse.
Well, and that's the thing is discipline is the biggest thing, and everyone's waiting for motivation.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's great when you get that little urge of motivation and it gets you going and you feel good that day and this happened, that's good, and it just gives you that little. That's all good things, but what are you doing when you don't have the motivation? What are you doing when you're slacking off and laying around and making excuses in your own head, telling yourself you should be doing this, but you don't do it? That's where your discipline comes in. Your
Mm-hmm.
discipline's going to get you up and push you, regardless if you got that motivation. So the motivation, but that's what everyone is waiting for is the motivation, but it's not, man. You got to have that discipline, and that,
Mm-hmm.
especially when it comes to working on yourself and making yourself better and being the best version of yourself. Because I don't know how many times we've said it, and I'll say it again: is you can't be the best for your children as a parent, as a father. You can't be the best for your girlfriend or your wife. You can't be the best employee for your boss or for your employees as a boss if you're not the best for yourself. How can you be,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Well,
So
you know,
a part of that. Go
well,
ahead.
here, speaking of though, being the best version of yourself. What our topic is on is social media, and a lot of people try to be other people because what they see on social media, you know, and it affects especially like young girls, definitely young girls. I would have to say is it affects. You know what I mean? They see the skinny body, gotta have the big boobs, the nice round butt. If you don't have that, no one's gonna like you. And then on the other way, it's muscles for men. And it's what's put out there, and it's like brainwash, really. You know, you see it on TV, you see it on the magazines, like everywhere you look, you see that shit, and it's like brainwashing you that you have to be like that. Spend the money, do this, do that. But at the end of the day, you just be you, man. You know? You don't have to fucking be anybody else or like who gives a fuck what people's I haven't said this in a long time, but who gives a fuck? If they're not coming to your birthday party, who gives a fuck about these people? Be you, man. Do what you want to do. You don't have to copy all these social media shit. And it's sad, man, because
Well,
it
not,
affects our generations. Go ahead, bro.
and that's the thing is it's creating a world of followers, not
Yeah,
leaders,
100%.
right? Everybody wants to be like that person, but why do you want to be like anybody else but you?
Yeah.
There's only one you in the world.
Mhm.
Be you. Be a leader. Don't be a follower.
Yep.
And the social media is is extremely damaging in a lot of it's great for a lot of things with business and online and yeah, that's awesome, but then you look at the other half where it is toxic, it is killing marriages, dating. The dating's not the same, like you said, you see, especially for men, like, and women, they're always chasing that
Mhm.
that's their ideal man, that's their ideal woman, and they're constantly chasing it. So when they see and meet somebody and then they realize that they're not like that, they're going to continue to chase that. Just like with money, if you're someone that always chases money, money will never be good enough no matter how much money you make,
Mhm.
because you're constantly chasing it.
It's
So when
true,
you have
man.
social media and every guy wants that girl because they're going to be high five by their buddies and I'm going to go for that, guess what? You will never get that because you're always chasing it.
Mhm.
And especially the younger generation, and where it's come from, like our time in high school, man, we didn't even have cell phones. We didn't have all this internet. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it was genuine. Meet someone
Outside,
in
man.
public. You
Mhm.
meet someone in public. You're knocking on doors to hang out with people. It's and now it's you're swiping. People are cheating, sitting on their toilet in their bathroom while their wife's or husband's fucking at work. They don't even have to leave their house.
Mhm.
It's set up, done. And especially with the bullying and especially the younger kids, because the kids, I when I was, my son's almost 14, and at that age, man, you're just trying to fit in. You want to be cool. You're high school. You want to be
Yeah.
fit in with these kids, and you start smoking. You start doing this dumb shit because that's what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And that leads these kids into such a dark path, and it's extremely detrimental to them, and it's really bad, man.
Mhm.
Right, and that's why the divorce rate is so high. Is because of social media, and everyone's chasing that. And then then you have, and then in the dating world, you got good guys. Like, you see it all the time now, especially on TikTok, because guys are fed up. They're not fucking wasting their time anymore trying to date because these girls have such high standards and they want this, and this. But they're not willing to give you this, and this. Like,
Mhm.
if you want somebody with these qualities, write a list. If that's what you want, that's fine. That's what you want. But you have to be that list too. But the problem with social media is so fake that, especially for guys, that these women don't even have a fucking list that they can give you. But when you always hear, like, what do they bring to the table? Well, a lot of girls would be like, well, why do you guys always ask that? It's not, I don't. this and that about money. It has nothing to do with money at all. It's being genuine and sweet and supportive, and not
Mhm.
only with me because you might get something or status. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's what's killing, especially on the guy side. And there was that the I seen this like a month ago. They had like a world stat that by 2023, 50% of the women, the
Wait,
population of women
2023
in
is
the
over,
world.
bro.
Oh, sorry, the end of 2024.
Yeah.
Or no, sorry, my bad. 2030. It was 6 years from now.
Yeah.
So at the end of 2030, my apologies, that 50% of the world population of females will be single and childless because of OnlyFans, because of girls and how they post pictures on social media. And on the guy side, they're just, why would you wife it? Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So social media is definitely destroyed the dating world, especially.
Oh, yeah.
But now you got, but then you got now you're looking at the darker, the real dark side is the online bullying and the especially the younger generation and how insecure these kids are because they want to be like that and they want to look like that but they can't, and now they're getting online bullied, and these 12, 13 year olds are literally committing suicide,
Mhm. That's sad,
because
man. You
it's
know?
truly sad.
Well, these kids got so much to live for, you know? I mean, I get it. Kids are fucking mean, you know? I was one of those kids that was mean, like, I get it. I understand. But it's because I got picked on. So then I became mean, 'cause I just got tired of getting picked on, and that's what happens, man. Or you get these school shootings, which is fucking crazy, man. The first one I think was Columbine years back. And now people are putting it like social media. People are live streaming these fucking mass shootings. It's fucking sickening, you know? And they're using social media to push that shit out there. It's fucking crazy. And then, these there's other kids that see this like, "Hey, that guy just did this, maybe I'm going to do this, and then this kid starts doing it. It's a snowball effect. And it
That's because
fucking
everyone's
shit
trying to
up,
fit
man.
in, man. Everyone's a follower. They think it's
Uh,
cool. They just want friends, and they get caught up in the wrong crowd doing things they don't really want to do,
Yeah,
but they
man.
do it anyways. It's like people pleasing, but for kids because they just want to fit in and they want to have that. Well, I get it. I was there. We were all there. High school is the time where you want to be the cool kid in school and you want to do this.
Mhm.
But now, man, it is. I like my son's going into high school starting in September, man, and I just I pray he makes the right decisions, and he's doing okay right now. But man, there's a lot of kids that are just, but a lot of that too, also not just from social media, but comes from parenting.
Yeah,
A
definitely.
million percent is it starts with your parenting. You see kids in the grocery store screaming and stomping their feet. Man, that's parenting. That is parenting written all over it. And the reason they stomp their feet and scream like that in the middle of a grocery store because the parents don't do nothing about it. That's why they keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's, but I mean, the social media side, man, like it's
Well, let's
yeah.
let's face
Uh,
it, man. Parenting's fucked nowadays too. I mean, I would get my ass fucking beat, I would. I would get my ass beat if I did something wrong, you know? I mean, now you got kids and they'll you look at me wrong, I'll call child services on your ass, you know? It's crazy. And it's because I think social media is fucking this shit up, man. I think it's all part of that, man. I mean, you got these kids that are glued to the screen. I mean, my daughter, man, you know, she would watch videos on YouTube of other kids playing with toys. I don't understand that. There's so many kids. I have so many friends that have kids that watch other kids play with fucking toys. You got your own fucking toys. Why don't you play with those? I don't get it, man. What's the point of me buying you toys if all you're gonna do is watch YouTube of other kids playing with toys? I don't understand it, man. That's the world we live in right now. I mean, I would be when I was their age, I would run out there, I'd be on my bike, getting my knees scratched, just getting into a little trouble. And as soon as the lights turn on, boom, you come home, man. Now
Yeah, after playing
it's a fight
street
to get them
hockey.
out. Yeah, man. Car, you know what I mean? Now it's a fight. It's
Yeah,
this
man.
shit is destroying our offspring.
When was the last time you seen any kids in the middle of the street with a hockey net playing street hockey?
Fuck.
None.
I
Ever.
d I don't think I have, man, in a long, long time.
Man, that's what I was doing every day after school, man. We get the neighbors and you have the hockey nets and we're playing street hockey. Every
Yeah,
Saturday morning we're meeting at the lacrosse box, we're playing hockey or whatever.
yeah, yeah,
But it's not the same anymore because of
mhm,
social media and all these
yeah,
younger kids, man. It's just creating a world of followers and depressed teenagers.
yeah. My dad
And
used to
even
call
as
it my dad used to call it the heads down club because everybody's got their heads down, man. It's not just kids, it's
uh,
adults too. I mean, I get lost in it. You get lost in it. We all get lost in it. It's fucking crazy. And then you realize, what the fuck? I just was scrolling for like half an hour there, you know? That's what it is. It's a fucking mind trick or whatever. It fucks your shit up, man. It pulls you in and it like just mushes your brain. You're stuck there scrolling, looking at nonsense. Fucking nonsense, man. And people are making money off of this nonsense. Especially here on TikTok, man. Like you said, it's online panhandling. Straight up, TikTok's online panhandling, man. It's the truth. I mean, we post on there, but we don't give a shit about the gifts and shit, man. We're just here trying to spread what we want, right? And that's men's mental health. It's it's crazy, man. You don't even have to go down on the side of the street anymore with a sign. You can just get a phone and online panhandle. I don't know. And some of these things that these people do. I mean, where is your self-respect? Really? Like I've seen some video where people are doing some stupid shit just to get views. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Why do you care? Why do you care about what these people around the world really think? Maybe it is. Maybe it's mental health, man. You know, they have no one else.
well,
Maybe.
and that's the thing is like 90% of the reason why businesses don't start or fail or people don't take the classes they want to take or they're afraid to tell their friends that this is what they've always wanted to do but they think that their friends will say it's dumb is because of other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Straight, that's it.
Yeah.
But if you're spending so much time caring about what other people think, that's just a self-reflection of how you feel about yourself
Yeah, man.
because you're afraid that they're going to tell you something that you already believe about yourself
Mhm.
and verify that because of your own self-doubt.
Yeah, it's so
And
true.
you know what I mean, that's exactly what it is
It's so
because if
true.
you if your self-worth was high, your self-esteem was high, your confidence was high, dude, someone making fun of you online or saying that your product sucks or I design my own clothes and some people don't like it. I don't give a shit. But a lot of people like, well, maybe it is stupid. I shouldn't do this anymore. Or this and whatever it might be. And there's because they have no confidence in themselves. They don't believe in themselves.
Mhm.
and that's the biggest problem is. And then even as adults, especially when you see people on the gram and TikTok stunting with Ferraris, and I made $10,000 last night on affiliate marketing and all this other bullshit. Yeah, maybe some of them did, but why do people get so caught up in their life when it has nothing to do with yours? That's not the path
Mhm,
that you chose. And if you're unhappy with the path that you chose and where you are today, then change it. Work
mhm,
on then fix it. If you, because where you are in your life is a result of you and you only, and not with things that has happened to you. Not it's nobody's fault but you. You are where you are in your life because of you and you only. And if seeing that car and that house, and yeah, everybody wants it, but focus on you, put in the work, find what drives you, find your why, stop playing a fucking victim all the time and blaming other people for why you are where you are in your life or why you don't have the money. There's so many people. I used to be like that. Oh, I wish I had that, but I would never get that because I only make this much. Well, boom, I just said it out loud to the universe. Guess what? I'll never get that. And every
mm.
time that someone says that, it will never happen because you already believe it that you'll never get it. You've told yourself you won't get it before you even fucking try.
Yeah, man, you set yourself up for failure.
It's all about perspective and how you look at things. Is you got to tell yourself that if that's what you really want, then you're gonna get it. The manifestation, that
Mhm.
shit works, man. You see it all the time, man. I it works. It works.
Definitely does,
But you
man.
have you a million percent it does. But you got to
Mhm.
believe it. You got to see it. You got to feel it. And just because you only make this much money, like you can make more money. You just you're allowing yourself to hit that ceiling because where your self-worth is you will never go past that in anything
Plateauing.
in your life. The
Yeah,
people that you date, the money that you'll make, because you'll never go past the level of your self-worth. So once you raise your self-worth, now you have more confidence and self and belief in yourself that you know what, I can make more money. You know what, I can get that car. You know what, I can get a better relationship, a more loving relationship. I can have better friends. But everyone is so stuck in their own minds and self-doubt that they will never pass that level because that's where their self-worth sits. You'll
definitely.
never go past that,
Yep.
ever.
Yep. Well,
So until you raise that, you'll be stuck in it, and then you'll just keep playing the victim and poor me, it was their fault, and I was abused 10 years ago, and he cheated on me 3 years ago, and then you just keep sitting on that, "Well, that's why I'm like this." Well, guess what? That's where your life is gonna stay. And now you're not even living your life, and you're gonna live
Mhm.
the rest of your life just existing. And that is a sad way to live.
Just miserable fuck.
Just
Y
miserable, content. And
Yeah,
content doesn't mean happy. Content
no.
just means you're okay,
Yeah.
but you're
Floating.
unfulfilled.
Yeah, you're just floating around, right? But, like,
And
here's the
why
thing too, let me put this out there, and I've said it before in a episode or 2 before. It's like, think of this, a boxer is gonna go into a match, you know? He's not gonna go into that match and be like, "Ah, fuck, this guy's gonna kick my ass. I'm gonna lose, like, he's just gonna fuck me up." No. The guy goes in there like, "I'm gonna fucking destroy this guy. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him, and I'm gonna win this match." You know? It's having that mindset. And you should have that mindset when you do everything. I'm gonna kick ass. I'm gonna do the best that I can, and then some. It's about changing that mindset, like we always say.
and yeah, and changing your perspective on how you look at things as well, right?
Yeah,
Is
man.
getting out of that victim mentality, and we're humans, we're every one of us is guilty of it, is we always tend to focus on the negative than rather than the positive.
Yeah.
But yet we get stuck on one negative. But that's where the gratitude comes in, because you have guarantee most people have 100 really good things, but they black that out to only
Mhm.
focus on this one negative.
Yeah.
And majority of the time, it's not even a real problem, because if you look at
Minor.
some of the
Yeah.
people, in this world and what they have to go through and what they struggle with in these little kids in third world countries and all that, Those are real problems. And then here on the in the west side, in the Western world,
I broke a nail.
is yeah, or I didn't get
Yeah,
that car, so I'm all pissy for a month. Like you, if
yeah,
that's what you want, man, you don't got problems. You got work to do.
yeah,
So it's all about changing your perspective
yeah,
and how you look
definitely.
at things. Oh well, I just got laid off. Yeah, it's shitty, but that's not a real problem. That means you got work to do. So
Mhm,
you're gonna sit back and just feel sorry for yourself, or that relationship ended. And yeah, it's terrible. The heartbreak. It is the worst feeling on the planet. But regardless, it's over,
mhm.
right?
Well,
So what are you gonna now? What are you gonna do about it? Are you gonna go feel sorry for yourself and drink for 6 months and then just drag it out even farther and
mhm.
poor me? And I didn't deserve this. Maybe you didn't deserve it, but it's still your problem,
Well, you know what, man?
right?
With heartbreak, like you just mentioned, I mean, that's another thing with social media, man, that I find, that I think is totally fucking wrong and fucked up. Let's say, like you and your partner break up. Well, then either you or your partner goes on social media and starts posting, "Oh, I'm doing so great. I'm doing this so great." And that's mind fucking. You know what I mean? Like shit like that, man. I don't understand that shit. You know? Look at me, look at me. I'm doing so great. Meanwhile, when the camera's not on that person, they're in the bed fucking under the blankets like crying. Nothing that is on social media is fucking really true. Half the shit is fucking fake, you know? Wearing makeup, everything is staged. I mean, everything is fucking staged, man. With these influencers, a lot of that shit is, man. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's the
I
thing is
don't know.
everybody wants to look like they balling on social media,
Yeah, man.
and every girl wants to act like they a supermodel on hanging out on yachts.
Yeah.
But guarantee half of those people are sleeping on a mattress on the floor in their parents' basement suite.
Quality over
And the
quantity, my buddy. That's what it
and
is,
the
man.
BMW and the BMW that they're driving was bought by their parents, but they're the ones stunting. But it's all fake, man. But the
Yeah,
thing is all these people that portray this now, everybody wants to be that.
yeah.
Everybody wants to have that life, and this guy's like, "Oh, look at my new Lamborghini I just bought." Like, how do you know he actually bought it?
Buddy, that shit is
I can go in.
rented, bro. Half that shit is rented, man. You know? Or they rent it off of, like, a company or someone that has a friend or knows a friend that has a friend. You know what I mean? Half that shit is not even those people. The shit's rented. You go to the red carpet, man, all these actors and shit, they're just renting those dresses, renting the fucking jewelry half the time, man, just so they can sponsor the artist or whatever you wanna fucking call them, you know? And then you see that, man. That's big too. Like all these okay, this is one thing I don't understand. I don't fucking understand this. Actors, okay? People go crazy over actors. I don't get it. They're fucking human beings, man. Who gives a shit? Let them live their life, you know? I see that. Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god. I touched him. Oh my god. I'm never gonna wash my like it's just crazy, man. You know? And then people follow this shit like the Kardashians, man. That's crazy. They follow that shit and, like, they have to dress like that. The chick got a BBL, so then people started getting BBLs, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. It's like they start something and everybody just has to follow. Fucking make your own path. Why are you gonna follow these people? I mean, have you seen the show? Let's face it. It's a fucking joke, you know? I mean, I don't get it. That fucking social media shit, man, is just it's wild to me, man.
Yeah, that's the world we live in, though, right?
It's just I don't
And
know.
it,
It's crazy,
as I
man.
said, it's a world of followers now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be like that. I'm going to stand 2 days in line for a pair of Yeezys. Like, you guys are idiots. You're all idiots, every one of you, right? And then they're laughing at you because that was last year's model and that was last year's. Oh, That was out of style 2 years. Shut the fuck, man. Just don't. Because you know what? For me, not even just because of how old I am now, even like besides the fact that I make my own clothes most of the time, but even when I wear other clothes, man, I don't care who makes it. If it's nice, I'm gonna wear it. Period. I don't care
Mhm.
what brand it is. And if you're gonna judge me because of the brand and maybe that was cool 5 years ago, who gives a shit? But that just show like anyone that hates on you and says stupid shit like that, or like online and all that, that's just a self reflection of where they are in their own life
Mhm.
because they're miserable with themselves. So they got
Yeah.
to hate on other people because nobody in this world that's doing better than you will hate on you. It's
Yeah.
always the people that want to do what you're doing but can't do it, or they're
Jealousy,
miserable in their
man.
own life because they're bashing you online.
Yeah.
That's all it is. On
Yeah.
keyboard warriors that talking shit when they ain't doing nothing with their own lives. So they're
Mhm.
hating on it.
Yeah.
Or like they like you see someone like, oh my guy posted buying a Ferrari. You know what? And if he did buy the Ferrari, good for him, man. Well done. Then you see the comments like, oh, that's an ugly Ferrari. That's like just dumb shit.
Yeah, where's
Because
your
people are
Ferrari, buddy? You know what I mean? When they say that shit. Like that guy probably worked hard and bought his Ferrari and then people like you said, people, "Oh, it's ugly." Well then where's yours, man? Like why the fuck are you complaining? And you know what they say usually? I would never buy that. I would buy. Well then where's that? Whatever you want, it's fucking ridiculous. Keyboard warriors like you said, man. Just
pretty much, man. But that's the world of social media though, right? It causes, it's like I said, it's great for businesses and that kind of stuff and getting your name out there for a lot of things, but at the same time, man, like, it's always a catch 22 with anything.
yeah, man.
But the damage that this causes people, the depression, the suicides, especially in the younger generation and the young kids,
Yeah.
it's 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 really hard, man, and just the online bullying, and that's the thing is, even as adults, like I said, not starting your business because of worried about what other people are going to say about it. Like that's also a self reflection of you and where you are in your life and how you feel about yourself. That's all it is.
Yeah, man.
Because if you had the confidence and felt good about yourself and loved yourself, none of that would affect you. You wouldn't even lose sleep over it.
Mhm.
For the longest time when I was struggling in my depression and attempted suicides and like just anxiety all day, every day, yeah, your low your self-esteem is rock bottom, your confidence is rock bottom, your self-worth is rock bottom. So yeah, you worried about other people think because you don't want them to verify your own thoughts and feelings about yourself because at
Mhm.
that time that's how you feel about yourself, right? And someone says, well, that's stupid, why are you doing that? Even though you love to do it, then you'd be like, well, maybe it is stupid, I'm not going to do it then because of what someone else said. But
Yeah.
then again, you're not living for yourself, you're living for other people until you realize that no matter what you do in your life, good or bad, somebody's going to say something about it, somebody's going to hate on it.
Yeah.
So no matter what you design, someone's not going to like it. No matter what product you make, someone's going to hate it. So do it anyways.
Yeah,
What's
man.
what? Why not? Do it anyways. You can
Pe
save a pregnant woman with her 4 kids from a burning house, and some idiot's going to go online like, well, you didn't get the dog, so
But here's the
it doesn't
thing
matter.
though,
It doesn't
man.
matter.
You're doing it for you, right? You're doing it for you. You're not doing it for everybody fucking else in this world. You're doing it for you. Make yourself happy. Why do you have to go and make everybody else happy? Fuck that, man. Make yourself happy. Do what you want to do. You know, don't follow this other shit. Oh, you got to wear this month because that's what's in, and all this other shit. Like, fuck, do whatever you want to do, man. So yeah, here's another thing though that's really fucked up in social media. This is a big one, man, and this is where like a lot of young people definitely take their lives because it's devastating to them. Is when two people back and forth, they're intimate or whatever. They show send pictures back and forth, naked pictures, and then all of a sudden that person's sending it everywhere else. And next thing you know, without permission, this poor fucking young person, male or female, got their pictures all over the internet and all these people, you know? And now you thought, you could trust this person, you know? You're sharing this something intimate with this person. Not only does this person break your trust, but also just fuck your life up by putting your shit all over the net, you know? Imagine going to school and everybody sees you, and then that's what you're known for or whatnot, you know what I mean? Next thing you know, man, that person just got super depressed, got suicidal, and ended their life. And it happens all the fucking time, man. It's fucked up, you know?
It's truly sad. It is. It's truly sad, man. And people, there's a lot of evil people in this world, man. That
Yeah,
have
man.
that. Well, I mean, you see it all the time on the news. You see what they do to kids and other people and pedophiles, and it's a sick, twisted world.
Yeah.
And it's truly sad that people are like that and do these things because especially nowadays, it's very hard to find good, genuine people.
Yeah.
And if you find them and man, don't let them go. And I'm not talking about just in relationships, man. Like the friends around you, you got good friends, you hang on to them, man, and you be a good friend back. You be a good, husband and wife back because it is very hard to come by nowadays. And a lot of it too is because there's so many more people in this world struggling mentally and more depression because of social media,
Mhm.
because, you know, of like you said, people putting your shit online and private things and all these other things that will break you.
Mhm.
And even if you're in a good place and confident about yourself and you don't care that this guy talks shit about you online and you got a couple haters, but there's certain things, and we're human beings, man, that there's certain things, no matter how big you are, no matter how tough you think you are, that will tear you down and will break you.
It's true, man.
We're humans. We're not robots, man.
Yeah.
And I've seen the biggest guys cry their eyes out for months over things, and and so it doesn't matter who you are, how big you are. Is certain things in life, man. It'll take you down, man, and it destroys you.
Yeah, man.
And it's extremely sad that people can do this to other people and do these things to other people. But I think and it goes back to being a clear reflection of where they are in their life, what has happened to them. Because we talked about this once before. I read this book when I was going through my shit and getting out of my depression and suicidal state. I started to read books, and I never read books before. I can read, but I never was that guy. And I read a book, and it made a lot of sense. Is when you see these people do these evil and foul and act crazy and all these things, most people are like, well, what the fuck is wrong with them? That guy's nuts. Why is he acting like that? Like, what's wrong with him? And
Mhm.
nobody asked the question of what happened to them,
Yep.
because that is a clear indication that something seriously bad or messed up has happened to them. Doesn't mean that it's justifiable for what they do. Doesn't mean we're gonna feel sorry for you because of that. Because regardless what's happened to you ever in your life, whether it was your fault or not, it's still your problem. So
Yep.
those people, just chose not to deal with the problems in hand. Those people chose the wrong band-aids. Those people chose a negative outlook on things. They chose the wrong perspective on it. They chose all these things, and that's why these people do such messed up and evil shit,
100%.
right? Because there's clearly something going on. Now,
Yeah.
maybe some people schizophrenia, all these actual mental conditions, but
Mhm.
a lot of people get diagnosed with that later on because of what's happened to them in the past or as children or
Drama.
veterans in war and veterans and what they've seen on overseas and all these other things in PTSD.
Mhm.
But those are the people that chose not to deal with it. Those are the people that chose not to turn around and face their demons head on, right? And then it gets to a point where now they're mentally whatever diagnosed or mentally struggling for the rest of their life because they just kept stacking on all these bad things that's happened and then they just keep adding more bad things
Mhm.
and not dealing with any of them, and in situations like ours, because this is where we came from in a different way, we struggled so hard and I struggled so hard with being abused as a child to losing a son to all these things, but I never really dealt with it. I didn't look in the mirror. I didn't face it. I didn't deal with them. And I kept stacking, and weighing myself down to the point where I try to take my life. And that's the same kind of thing. But other people act out in different ways. I didn't act out in violence because of how messed up I was. I just acted out in, well, I didn't act, I shut down. I was the opposite. I shut
Yeah,
down. I shut people
self-harm,
out.
right?
Self
Self-harm.
harm. That,
Yes.
but other people are so messed up because they didn't deal with their traumas and pain that they act out. You know, like you mentioned earlier, like being bullied in school. Then you started to bully people. A lot of people are like that. Well, I was abused as a child, so now I'm going to abuse my children.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Monkey
my
see,
parents were
monkey
like
do,
this,
man.
100%. But you got to
Yeah.
be able to break that generational curse, and and if you, especially when you have children, if you do not deal with the problems that you have and the traumas that you've had to deal with and the pain that you've been through, your children will have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You pass on generational trauma to those kids.
Mhm.
Because I know a lot of parents, man, they're like, "Oh, I'm fine," and they don't talk about it because it triggers them. So they just bury it. I'm okay, and then they distract themselves with work, this, thinking that they're managing, but you're not managing. You're struggling.
I did
They're
that for
struggling.
years, man.
I did it for 20 years, man.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And I'll just do this. And then I got so overwhelmed that I broke myself down even more, not realizing that's what I'm doing to myself because I'm overworking. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to be this for my kids and I'm trying to do these things. But who's feeling it the most? Your
Mhm.
children,
Well, do you
your family.
remember? You remember, man? I was puking blood every morning. I would wake up before going to work. Remember? I'd puke blood. You know, it was because, man, I was just fucking on fight or flight mode. You know, because I didn't deal with the situation at hand at that time. I shit you not. Every morning I woke up, I would go straight to the bathroom and start puking, and blood would be in there, like clogs of blood. Because the stress that I was putting through my body was just eating away inside, and it was fucking my shit up, until I took care of it. Now I haven't done that. Oh god. Probably a couple months after Jules passed away, because that's when I started seeing that grief counselor for a bit. I don't know, and it was just stress. They said I had to de-work, just take it easy. It was just, I don't know, it's crazy, man. But yeah, it was nuts. Every day. And I went to the doctors, just stress, man. Anxiety and stress. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when your immune system is shot like that from stress, because you
Mhm.
can make yourself sick. If you're always sick, you always got colds. That's also a reflection of where you are mentally,
Yeah, man. Your immune
because your
system.
immune system is shot.
Mhm.
Because you're always stressed out, you're always depressed, you're always sad. So you'll get sick way more. It's a true story. Because if you look at the times that you were good in life and you're feeling good, how many times did you actually get sick? Probably
Mhm.
not many or none. You know what I mean? Like, I used to
Affects
get sick all
everything.
the time. It affects everything.
Yeah.
So your mental state is number one before anything.
Yeah.
And if you know that there's something you can do about it, and there's so many people like, yeah, I know I got to deal with this. I just this and make excuses for it because they don't really want to face it. They don't want to admit that this happened to them. They don't want to admit they did this. They don't want to take accountability. But you will not fix nothing until you look yourself in the mirror and take accountability. Why that relationship ended? Instead of just saying, "Oh, it was their fault and her this and that." No, it was your fault. Take accountability for it. And even if it was something that happened to you as a child and it wasn't your fault, or anything that's happened to you that isn't your fault, you still gotta face it. You still, like I said, it regardless if it was your fault or not, it's still your problem. So what are you gonna do about it? If you're gonna keep burying yourself, like I said, and go to work and do this and just overwhelm yourself, you're just gonna constantly live with anxiety, depression, stress, because you keep telling yourself you're fine, but you're not.
It's true.
So you have to, and it's not easy, man. It's not easy to tell a counselor or a therapist that for me, I was sexually and physically abused when I was a little boy. Most people in my position, like they're not, especially as men, they're not going to go and tell a counselor. They don't want to say that out loud. Then they feel less of a man. They feel weak. They feel, I
Mhm.
don't want them to know. And they bury it. But that, like those kind of things, man, is like you have to face it. You got to deal with it. You will never forget these things that's happened to you ever. But it's finding the tools so that when you have these triggers and negative thoughts that weigh you down and take over your life, is that you're able to navigate through those thoughts and find the positives in your day rather than focusing on this
Mhm.
and let it take over. And then by doing that, and if you don't do that, you are no longer present in your day to day, and you're letting your days go by because you're so messed up and your mind is so poisoned that you're unable to be present. You're unable to be there. You might be beside your kids, but you're not there. And I was like that for a few years. I would still be there. I would play with them, but my mind was not there. I was nowhere near them, even though I was right beside them. And that's the
What
same with your wives and your relationships. If you finding that clarity in your mind allows you to be present. And I struggled that for so many years that I didn't know how. And I didn't even realize I wasn't present because you're so gone in your own anxieties and depression that it is impossible to be present in these moments where, and when you're struggling, especially big things that's really hurting you, you're unable to enjoy the things in that day when that shouldn't affect that day because that happened 2 years ago. So why is it affecting you today? Or overthinking about a scenario or something 3 months from now that could happen when it hasn't even happened yet. But because that's how our minds are working and we're struggling, we're no longer present in the day.
Mhm.
And that's where finding that clarity in your own mind and fixing these core issues and hitting these head on, that you're able to be present and enjoy your day. And when you're out doing things with your kids and your wife and your friends, is actually be in that moment and enjoy it. Like you said earlier, we're talking about, the social media and scrolling. I would sit there and scroll for 45 minutes, but it wasn't because I was liking what I was looking at, because it was an anxiety thing. I just felt better. Like that was my escape from my mind, was scrolling. But by doing that, like my dad used to do it all the time. My kids would be in my ear, dad, 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 literally right here. But then my dad would come over visit and he'd be like, your kids are talking to you. They're right beside you. And I was so gone and lost in my own mind because I was using the scrolling to distract myself from the pain and the depression that I was feeling. Right. So that
Makes
was an
sense.
anxiety thing for me. And that was my tool. And you might hear about this and why people rewatch the same show over and over because they know the outcome and it's comfortable and it's an anxiety thing
Or
because
like
you already know
fidget
what's going to
spinners,
happen. Fidget spinners, yeah, or
all that
watching the
stuff.
same movie of
Yeah.
like 50 times is because it's an anxiety thing. It's the same thing, like scrolling through your phone. But in order is you have to be able to hit these problems head on. You have to
Well, it's also
because you know it,
dopamine effects too, right? It's like little increments of dopamine that's like you're getting every time you scroll and you get a new video on your feed, man. It's a little bit of a dopamine. Oh, what's this guy gonna talk about? Oh, what's this guy? Is this guy on the skateboard gonna hit his nuts? You know what I mean? Like it's just little dopamine effects. Like we talked about a couple episodes ago, it's like chasing that little dopamine effect without you even knowing it because you're so focused on this little fucking device with like we said, stupid fucking videos, man, you know? Like there's a lot of just pointless stuff. Like how to open a door with a shoe and it's got millions of views. Like what the hell is that? I I don't know, man.
but again,
Like I don't
that's
know.
a distraction for people, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people get so caught up in it and distracted by it, but yet they're not focusing on themselves and they're not happy with themselves and they're bored with themselves. They don't know what to do with themselves. So it's an easy, just like you said, the dopamine and the entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, I remember man swiping on social media or whatever can have you sitting in one spot for 45 minutes and you didn't even realize it was 45 minutes already
Or on the shitter and
because
you
you're so because
yeah.
but it's keeping you distracted from the real issues,
Yeah.
the the reality of what's around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it affects your
And
sleep too, bro. I mean, like sometimes, man, I've been caught catching myself too. You know, you're sitting in bed and you're scrolling and scrolling. Next thing you know, you're fucking. It's like 2 hours past your bedtime. You know, and then you got to go to work the next day, and you're fucking beat. You know, like that shit affects everything in your life, man. Not just
well,
like
it's an yeah, it's an addiction.
yeah, man. I mean, there's okay, okay. Here, I got something for you. So oh god, I was probably early 20s. Started dating this chick. She's at my house. I was living downtown at the time. And this chick was always on her phone. I mean, always on her phone. It was so annoying, man. So we're fooling around, we're naked on the couch. Like, okay, let's go to the bed. So I get up, I go to the bed. I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Like, where the fuck is she? My hallway's not that long. I come back out on the couch. She's sitting butt naked and she's just on social media scrolling. I think this is back when oh god, what was it? Not MySpace. Was it MySpace? Maybe MySpace. Old school. Or
Or
Nexopia and all that shit. Yeah.
MSN Messenger.
No, this is like yeah, it's like Nexopia and all that shit. But I mean, what the fuck is this? You're on the phone. I said she's like, okay, I'm coming now. I'm like, nah, it's okay. I'm over it. Went and put my clothes on. I'm like, I think you should leave. And I went to sleep. Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. I don't get it. I mean, that chick was. I mean, this thing. She might have well just fucking super glued it or PL'd it right to her fucking ear, man, or to her hand. I mean, it never left her sight. It was fucked. I can't. I
Well,
still to this day.
like I said, man, there's an addiction. Like
Yeah,
if you If the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is roll over and look at your phone, you have a problem. It is actually you are addicted to your phone.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is roll over and start scrolling in the morning when you wake up. You have a problem. And that's damaging, man, because I remember going on dates with girls and they had to video everything and they had to edit it while I'm ordering nachos. I'm like, the fuck are you doing? But it's an addiction
Didn't you
and
go on a
people
date?
can't put it down.
Yeah, didn't you go on a date and the chick fucking was that you? And, like, she had to take a picture of everything and, like, she was vlogging while she was on the date. Was that you or
Yep. Vi- at the arcade had the video herself. Here, can you hold this and do it this angle? I'm like,
Yeah. It was the first
Jesus,
time
man.
you
And then
met
you
her.
and then sitting at the table and then
Shit.
the nachos and the nachos come and it's sitting in front of us. And she's like, oh, sorry, I'll just be a minute. I'm like, okay. And then 20 minutes, literally 20 minutes later, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, sorry, I just got to edit this video. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, you're done. I'm not
Yeah.
talking to you again.
Yeah.
Like, peace out.
That's
So,
crazy, man.
but it's an addiction, right? But again, for me, it was an anxiety thing. And I think a lot of people are like that as well because it's a distraction from their own thoughts and a distraction from what's really going on in their life that they don't want to think about it. So it's
Yeah.
easy for them to be distracted in the palm of their hand,
Yeah.
right? But by doing that, you're wasting so much more time. And I bet because you can see how many hours people spend a week, it tells you whatever on TikTok.
Yeah.
And man, if people actually looked at it and be like, holy shit, and you're like 20 hours this week, like what could you do with your life in those 20 hours? What could you have done to benefit yourself, to start working on that side hustle you always wanted to start? You know, same with binge watching TV shows.
Yeah.
Why are you if you're not where you wanna be in your life, why are you wasting any time binge watching TV shows and 20 hours a week scrolling on your phone if it
Yeah.
is not benefiting you trying to build yourself up?
Why not pick up a book or fucking educate yourself in something else? You know what I mean? Why fucking scroll? I mean, okay, yeah, watch YouTube video about educating on something that you're interested in. Not how to open a fucking door with a shoe with like 7 million views, you know?
But
Holy
people
fuck.
but those are the same people that play victim and
Yeah,
that they just exist and they're just whatever. I've been at the same job for 10 years. I make the same
floating.
money. I'll never get that car and I'm just gonna struggle and maybe go on a vacation once every 4 years.
Yeah, poor me.
Yeah, and poor me. But then you sit there and complain about your life, but you're doing nothing about it. You got so many
Yeah,
people that complain about their weight, but won't go to the gym,
yeah,
and then they just stay in this this mindset of insecurity, and but they won't change, and then they complain about it. Oh, I'm too busy, and then they make excuses.
yeah.
Well, honestly, just shut up. I hate people like that. You can't say nothing. Do not complain about your life ever if you do not put in the work to make the changes. Hey,
That's
venting is one thing. You're having a bad day, man. You want to vent that's normal. You got to vent, man. Something really bad happened to you that's traumatic. You're hurting. You got to talk. You're
healthy,
venting.
man.
You're up.
That's healthy
That's
shit.
healthy. You're upset.
Yeah,
But if you're just sitting there complaining about your life, complaining about your weight, you're not going to the gym, you're eating like shit, you're miserable at your job, but you still keep going, then that's on you. I don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody cares. You got to work harder.
yeah,
Period. But there's so many people like that. Like poor me. Well, it's their fault, and I don't know. I can't find another job. Yeah, you can, but that's a direct reflection of how you feel about yourself because you have no self confidence. You have so much self doubt rather than more self confidence that you just decide to sit there in the same spot. Because the way I look at things now is if you fast forward a year from today and you are in the exact same place you were today, a year from now, you have wasted a whole year of your life.
you fucked up.
You wasted a whole year of your life.
Yeah,
Because if you're not trying to be better than the day before, if you're not trying to work on things to better yourself, because it is a never ending cycle of trying to better yourself. And if you don't, you're just going to constantly live in a state of depression
Mhm.
because you have no purpose. And that's why you get depressed, because you feel like you have no purpose. You
100%.
have no drive. But it goes back to what we said in the beginning. It's everyone's waiting for someone to motivate them, save them.
Yeah.
And but guess what? Nobody's coming to save you.
No.
And fuck motivation. It's discipline. You need to have discipline. If you're
Mhm.
not happy with the things in your life, then change them. Don't
Yeah.
complain about them. Make the effort. And sometimes it takes a long time to change certain things.
Yeah.
You know, if you got to lose 100 pounds, that's going to take you a while, but you got to have the discipline to get there
Yeah,
because
man.
if that's important, anything in your life is important, you will make an effort.
Well,
Anything else is an excuse, period.
let me say this, man. You can watch all the fucking motivational videos you want. You can watch it back to back. You can watch it 24/7 nonstop. But if you don't fucking do anything yourself, and like we said, have discipline and keep on track of what you're doing, then that shit means nothing, man. You know? It really doesn't. Oh, I watch all these motivational, it's gonna make me better. No, you're gonna make yourself better. It's up to you. It's not up to what even us. You know what I mean? We can talk all the bullshit we want into your ear, but at the end of the day, it's up to you. And that's what it comes down to. We just
It's
try
only
to
up to you.
Yeah, man, we just try to put this shit out there and make you realize it. I mean, fuck, it's
Well,
it's no skin off my back, man. You can do whatever the fuck you want, really, you know? But like we're trying to help. So, take it wherever you want, man. But
well, at the end of the day, it's only up to you. Doesn't It's not
exactly,
up to
man.
anybody else. Nobody's going to change unless they want to. Nobody's going to quit drinking unless they actually want to.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to get help unless they want to,
They need the
and
why,
only them.
man. You need a why. You wanna do this, you know?
Yeah, but most people won't change until they hit a rock bottom where something very bad happens or they're diagnosed with something,
Yeah,
and then they quit, and then they change.
yeah.
But luckily for me, I got to a point in my life at one point where I was so down and broken and depressed that my rock bottom was I tried to kill myself. And thank God I didn't, because I wouldn't be sitting here today and I wouldn't have the two beautiful kids that I have now if I did. But most people, majority, are not waiting for it, but won't change until something drastic and something traumatic or something painful happens.
Rock bottom, man. You need it.
Is
That's
that
what people
rock
do.
bottom?
Yeah.
But I encourage you listening, everybody, to not let it get to that point, because not only will you live with regret, but that point could be the point that I hit where I literally tried to kill myself. And then that point for you might be where you make that permanent decision and you can't come back for that ever again.
You know what? I
And
have to disagree, though, with a little bit of that. I think rock bottom is healthy in some cases. I'm not talking rock bottom where you're gonna go fucking off yourself, but I'm talking like rock bottom where you grab that motivation and you rebuild. Because let's face it, rock bottom, right? Best foundation to build off of is rock bottom, man. You know? So I have to disagree a little bit in that sense because I mean, I think that's where you're gonna learn your biggest lesson. And if you look at it, some of the most successful people in this world have hit rock bottom and they grew. And let's be real, it'll humble you because a lot of people out there haven't hit rock bottom, so they're not humble. Where you're fucking eating KD every day or Mr. Noodles, because you're fucking fighting for what you want in the end game, your goal. I think
no,
rock
I
bottom
agree with
humble,
you.
you know what I
No,
mean?
I agree with you 100% on that,
Yeah.
because your biggest blessings and your biggest successes come from that pain
Pain, yeah.
and that rock bottom. And what I mean by what I was talking about, to elaborate a little bit, is not let it get to that mental state of where you can't even lift your head anymore, rock bottom of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
suicidal
yeah.
tendency or thoughts and that kind of rock bottom, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
that's the
you
next
definitely,
stage.
but there's still that bottom of depression, and I don't encourage people to be depressed,
No.
but in that pain, in that depression is where you'll find your biggest blessings, your biggest gifts, your drive,
Lessons?
but the lessons.
Mhm,
But then you have the other people who, on the other side of that, choose to feel sorry for themselves, play victim, drink all the time, start doing drugs. And I understand when you're in that place and you're that broken and you do anything to take that pain away,
mhm.
because I've been there.
Oh,
I,
yeah,
I
man.
sympathize with that, but I don't sympathize with this side, playing a victim, taking that pain away with temporary band-aids like drugs, alcohol, gambling,
Mhm,
even your phone and porn and whatever, all these other negatives. And they're more depressants, right? So you have to look at the pain that you're dealing with and struggling with is your biggest blessing, and finding the positive, then use that to drive you, not destroy you, drive you. Because I wouldn't have done and accomplished certain things that I've accomplished up until today within, say, the last 2 years if I didn't go through one of the worst pains I've ever felt mentally. Laying up in my room for 5 straight days, lose 30 pounds in 6 days because I couldn't eat. But because of that, it was the most painful, enlightening
mhm,
thing I've ever experienced because I chose this side rather than this side. And I let that drive me. And it was the hardest thing, but the best thing I've ever done. So if you're sitting in this, in that bottom, and you are feeling alone, broken, depressed, shattered, don't know where to turn, change that perspective and use that to fucking drive you.
mhm.
Because where you get to on the other side of that is the clarity to be present in your everyday life and to feel a way you never thought you would coming from that. Because I lived 20 years of depression and anxiety and suicidal tendencies and thoughts and attempts. And when you're in that for that long, you never think that you could feel the way that I could feel today, or some people can feel. And like you said, the most successful people have come from nothing and rock bottom,
Yeah, man.
and they use that to drive them. They use that to benefit them.
Yeah,
Don't
you know
let the
y
pain
y
don't let that pain and depression break you. Use it to define you, to push
yeah,
you, to drive you.
yeah, definitely, man. You know what I don't understand too? Is, like, when you're in that state, all the way down, low, and poor me, I'll never get this. I mean, it's harder to live that way than it is to do normal shit, man. It really is harder that live that way. I mean, you think about it, you're depressed, then you're not working, and then how are you gonna find food, Or how are you gonna buy food, or how are you gonna pay your bills? It's harder that way, you know? You don't wanna live like that, you know? You don't. It's a hard way to live, really, and a lot of people don't realize that, but it really is. It's not fun, man.
Well, and that's the thing is like I said earlier, is we tend to, as humans, for some reason, always just focus on the negative and not the hundred other good things that's around you or beside you,
Well, that's social
right?
media for you, bro. I mean, you're in a sad mood, you broke up with your girlfriend or whatever. You're gonna look up all this sad shit, man, on social media, and it's just gonna fucking push you down deeper and deeper and deeper, you know? Don't go watch fucking bunnies jumping through the grass on a beautiful day with trees and flowers, man. Forget the sad shit. You know what I mean? Like it what you see and what you're putting in your head is going to fuck with your emotions and make it even deeper, you know? Like I said, go watch something cute. Go watch cats fucking swat each other or something. I don't know, you know? Don't watch fucking the depressing shit.
Well, and the big one is even just getting out of your house, right?
Yeah,
And
man.
start doing those little things that we talk about,
Turn your phone
right?
off. Put on do not disturb. Do that for like 2 hours a day or something, you know? If you got a problem, do that. Be in the present, be in the moment. Except for if you're watching us. Then you have to be 100% watching us. We're the most important out there. But on that note, bro, I think this social media night is done for us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, man.
And it's always a pleasure, man. I look forward to doing this every week,
Yeah,
and we're not going to stop. Like I said at the beginning, we've officially beat out 90% of all podcasts because we still going, buddy. We still going.
yeah, man.
Nothing but big things this year, buddy. And for you guys just tuned in and listening, we are Raw Minds. We are the first podcast to do it on men's mental health, where we share our struggles and our success stories and help you guys the best that we can because we have lived 30 plus years of trauma, depression, pain, abuse, the list goes on. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why we sit here every week, talk to you guys. And if you guys are really struggling and you're having a hard time and you don't know where to turn, you have no resources, no family, or you just want somebody to talk to, man, you hit us up. Email us, rawmindspodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up on the inbox on the TikTok. Uh, man, we answer all your messages. We phone you. We help you. We'll do the best that we can. We're not doctors or therapists, but we've lived that life of trauma, basically, and pain.
Mhm.
So that's why we're doing what we're doing. I want to thank everyone that's tuned in this week. We love you. And on my end, if you can't find good people, be good people.
Yeah, man, Joey, thank you, buddy. And happy sweet 42. Um yeah, social media social media is a fucking brainwash fucking thing for sure. So be aware, definitely be aware of the time you spend on your phone. Put that shit down. Go smell the roses. Go enjoy some sun. Anyways, on that note, be good or be good at it. Take it easy. Bye.